Let's talk about Star Trek Discovery, its aftermath, Michael Burnham, and knowledge of Michael Burnham. So, at the end of the second season of Discovery, after Discovery made its time jump, which of course narratively was completely unnecessary, but for behind the scenes reasons, we had to jump them into the future to get away from the continuity issues that would inevitably be brought up by the continued existence of the show taking place in the pre-TOS era. And this is a big issue that Strange New Worlds is going to be running into now, and that show is going to just get worse and worse as we go towards the conclusion of its truncated fifth season. We are halfway through Strange New Worlds' entire run at this point, with being in episode 23 that just came out this past week. But with that being said, part of the cover story, if you will, was to classify all knowledge of the existence of the USS Discovery, the crew, the spore drive, all things that they did. But what about Michael Burnham's life up to that? It's kind of like the Kelvin timeline. Everything that happened prior to the incursion of the Narada and the destruction of the USS Kelvin was the same in the Kelvin timeline and the Prime timeline. So everything before that was unchanged. It's the same in both. So with that being said, wouldn't people still know that Michael Burnham started the Klingon War, that she was responsible for the deaths of 8,186 people? Wouldn't that still be something that most people would know? Because it was very much so common knowledge throughout the UFP, throughout the Federation, in Discovery and other parts of Star Trek. When she was on that shuttle to be taken to go be a dilithium miner or whatever, when the Discovery rescued them from the electricity-eating space bacteria bug species thing, the people on the shuttle, they were very well aware of her. It was public knowledge. It was news. It was like the Pearl Harbor of its day. It was like the 9/11 of its day, and people knew who she was. So with that being said, would it really be possible in later, in the later eras, in the TNG era and beyond, or even in the lost years between TOS and TNG, to reasonably expect that most people, obviously the Klingons, the Klingon Empire, they're going to know who she is. So how are they really keeping a clamp on this information and on this knowledge? What do you guys think? Drop a comment.